How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Trade and Co Trading YouTube channel, and welcome back to episode 2 of our market analysis videos. So we've got quite a lot to go through this week. We've highlighted the pairs here that I'm going to be going through. So as you can see, there's quite a few pairs to get through. So let's not waste any time and get right onto the charts. Alright guys, so to start off, we're going to be looking at USD CAD. So last week, quite a nice close on the weekly chart. Take away this analysis, you better see it better. You can see we've had this like hanging man sort of candle formation. So that's a good sign that we could see some bearish momentum next week. So looking through our shorts, straight away you can see we've got this trend line here. Going down to Fibonacci. It's dropped down to the 4 hour. So I'm expecting price to make this third touch of this trend line. And you can see we're hitting our head on our monthly resistance and the 61.8 Fibonacci as well. So seeing some more rejections from this area and some candle formations that I look out for. If I see that around this area, I'll be taking this short. First target, the minus 27.2, but you can see the minus 61.8 lines up perfectly with monthly support. So this could give you a nice 1 to 7 trade. So that's one setup I'll be looking for next week. But you can see on the daily chart was quite a bullish candle last Friday when it closed. So I'm going to be cautious taking this trade early next week, because the move that happens on Friday normally continues Monday and sometimes through to Tuesday. So possibly we might see a push up, might even be able to get a better entry, to be honest. I'm expecting a push up to let's highlight it for you. Anyway, in this area, to be honest, push up into this area, carrying on last week's movement, and I'm looking for this pair to drop down to these areas. So as I said, it's going to be could be a nice trade, and many confluences lining up with the weekly chart and looking at the higher time frames to give you the bias. See this monthly chart. Just to make this more clear. Last month we had this pin bar, shooting star like candle, so tapping into this area, as you can see from this wick, and then bearish momentum from here. So GBP USD. Not too much happening. You've got this trend line running across here. Let's check the Fibonacci out. Yeah, so let's go back to the weekly. So you can see here we've having some nice rejections from the weekly, but I think this pair has a little bit more upside. You can see this area here, people will be taking early shorts. So I'm expecting we might have a push down a little bit beginning of Monday, but eventually I'm waiting for price to come up to this area before taking this pair lower. First target would be a key level of weekly support, sorry. So looking at taking shorts from this area, nice 50 pip stop also, give you a nice 1 to 7 risk reward. So that's a pair, that's the setup I'm looking for. Cable. Right guys, so moving on to GJ. So straight away starting from the monthly time frame, you can see we've got this inverse head and shoulders, which is really strong on the monthly time frame. Obviously the higher the time frame, the stronger the setup, as I mentioned on the previous episode. So let's drop down to the lower time frames. On this daily chart here, you can see we've broken out this inner trend line. We've also got this outer trend line here. Line that up. So this could be a good area for taking long trades. You can see we might even make a Fibonacci retracement here from this area. Just zoom in a little bit for you. So Fibonacci retracement from this area, dropping into this weekly support, and might even retest the back end of this trend line and make this third touch on this trend line. So 3 or 4 confluences here from this area. Very simple analysis, just lining things up and adding confluence to the trades. So you can see we made a new high broken out of the market structure on the 4 hour. So we could easily come back to this area, make a higher low before then making its move to the upside. As you can see, the 61.8 is fairly close to the monthly resistance. This could be a perfect area for taking profit. Just lining things up, you know. So that's another setup I'll be looking for. So guys, my preferred setup on this are longs, but you got to be able to change your bias like at any time really. As you can see, we're on this daily chart, we do have this head and shoulders here, but this being the neckline, this could hold our support, and we, like I said, we got this back end of this trend line going down here. Let's put it on a second again, and a weekly support and this trend line as well. So I'm expecting at least some bullish momentum from this area, but looking at the daily chart here, this head and shoulders, if we do break lower, so break through these levels, so we might have a bounce up, then eventually break through, we can then look for shorts. So this area here would be the second touch of this trend line now, so then we can look for the third touch on the way down. So there's a couple of setups I'm waiting for on this pair, but my preferred setup on this is longs from this area, because I do believe we're going to have some sort of push at least from this zone, but how big that is quite hard to tell at the moment with this head and shoulders on the daily. So yeah, that's GJ. So GBP CAD, straight away we've got this trend line here on the daily. Let's just have a look at the weekly chart. See on the monthly, we had this pin bar last month from this support region, was resistance, now support. So we could potentially come back, retest this area one more time before moving higher. So let's just undo that a second. So this trend line here we have. Let's go back to the 4 hour. We could potentially come back and retest this trend line from the other side, and also test this monthly resistance, now support. Give a couple confluences there for a long trade, and obviously could potentially make a push up, continue last Friday's bullish momentum, so make a push up, and then potentially make a Fibonacci retracement here to the 50 or the 61.8 before then making its second leg to the upside. See what else lines up here. You can see the 61.8 again lines up perfectly with the 1.80 level, which is a strong key level. So first of all, Monday, continue this bullish momentum. I'll be looking for this retracement down to these areas before then taking this pair higher. Moving on to CAD Yen. So we've got this trend line here that we're respecting currently. We also have this outer trend line as well on the daily, which we've broken out of. See this trend line here? So on the daily chart here, we made this 61.8% retracement, and I think it's too early to be making its bigger retracement to this upside just yet. You see the 27.2, let's just highlight this area, comes in nicely with the monthly support. I think that price can come back lower to this area and retest the back end of this trend line. And you can see we've got this other Fibonacci over here, and the 78.6 lines up perfectly with that 27.2 and the monthly support. So I do think that we're going to be able to push down in that area and look at this target, 27.2 lines up perfectly with our weekly resistance. So I'm going to be looking for longs from this area. Obviously these are swing trades, so you want to have about 50 to 80 pip stop or so, but you want to see rejections from this area and candle setups before obviously taking this long, because you can easily get caught out by manipulation, which always happens. So you want to see a spike to the downside, taking out possibly these lows before then buying this pair. But you can see here this has a great potential for a 1 to 7 risk reward. So that's the setup I'm looking for on CAD yen, Aussie yen. So the last 3 days we've had this evening star formation, this bearish engulfing. So that's a great sign for a reversal, and you can see it here with this 1 touch, 2 touch, and I said price always takes out the previous high before reversing. So 1 high, 2 high, the third touch spike to the upside, took out these highs, and now it's reversing. So this could potentially be good shorts from this area. Let's see what lines up. So obviously got the back end of this trend line and this weekly resistance, sorry. So we might make, see we've got this area here as support and resistance, so we might make a push to the low, push to this area, sorry, continuing with this Friday's bearish momentum. Before then I'll be looking for a Fibonacci retracement, might even retest the back end of this trend line, but this area then will be a great area for taking shorts. And first target obviously weekly support and this -61.8. So that's another setup on Aussie yen. Now let's move on to New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. So it's quite similar. You can see we've broken out this ascending trend line, the same as Aussie yen. You see this is ascending trend line. So you can see here on the 4-hour chart, we had this left shoulder, this head. So we might potentially come up and make this right shoulder. Just go to the daily set. You see this trend line, outer trend line, 0.1, 0.2. So you got this third touch of this daily outer trend line. You got this back end of this ascending 4-hour trend line, and you got this head and shoulders. Just snapping on. You see here we got support and resistance here. So price might make a little bit more of a bearish move before then. See we've got all these confluences from this area, 61.8 daily trend line, 4-hour trend line, and this right shoulder. And you can see once again the extension line up perfectly with weekly resistance. So taking profit there. You can see everything just lines up perfectly. So what I do for my Fibonacci's, so if I'm taking, let's just clean this up a little bit. So if I'm taking a setup on the 61.8, I always make sure my stop loss is just above or just below if it's a bullish move. So just above the 78.6. So here I'd have a nice 41 pip stop loss. And targets of around 134 pips, a nice 1 to 3 risk to reward. So I think that's it, guys. All the others are quite indecisive so far, and nothing really sticking out. Although, so this Euro Aussie, this weekly pin bar, this could be interesting next week. See here as well. Let's go back to daily. It looks a bit more clean. This inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head. So we might potentially, this area here is going to be more of a swing trade. Extend this push up, come down to these areas, 38.2, the right shoulder and the weekly, the monthly support. Sorry. for then potentially targeting the 27.2 and the 61.8 lines up perfectly with both key levels. So potentially TP1 and then TP2. So that could be one set up on Euro Aussie. So let me know what you think of these videos. If there's anything you want me to cover in a video, whether it's how I draw my trend lines or key levels or candlestick formations, market structure or anything at all, just leave a comment below and I'll be sure to get that done. And let me know your feedback as well if this video can help you. Also drop a comment below. If you're interested in joining our Discord, I'm willing to give out a 1 week's free trial. Just message our Instagram account, it's TCO Trading. I'll put it on the screen. Just message us saying you're interested in a week's trial and we'll add you to the group. Thanks for watching, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next week.